From Careco TV, one of the longest running outdoor programs on television today. Exploring the country and the coast in search of adventure. From the mountains of the Great Northwest to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, this is Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. Today, we follow Mike McClleand, the 7-time Bassmaster champion, fishing on the Ozark Plateau, northwest of Arkansas. We'll learn a thing or two about what we need to do to have a successful fishing day in late winter.
We're kind of in that strange time of the year where you're trying to go from winter to the early spring, but it's been a fairly mild winter, and it's kind of that challenge today. We were talking about, what do you do this time of the year when the fish really haven't decided, do they want to be in their winter pattern or do they want to be in that pre-spawn early spring pattern where they start to move up. The wind's supposed to blow like 20, 25 mile an hour today, and we're going to fish some back ends of some creeks, try to stay out of the wind. One of the biggest things about fishing this time of the year is taking advantage of the conditions. We're going to see what we can make happen today. Probably one of the biggest things about this time of the year is being prepared for the conditions. Like I said, it's not super cold today, but the biggest thing about wintertime fishing is making sure that you're prepared for the conditions. Whether it's undergarments, guide wear, your overgarments, your Cabela's guide wear that you want to wear to break the wind. Those are all important things. You got to make sure you're prepared for these cold winter days. We're looking at water temperatures in the mid-40s. Now, it's been a lot colder, and that's what makes this year a little bit unique. We had some super cold weather about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The water temperatures actually got down close to 40 degrees, and we've actually had a little bit of a warming trend. So I really feel like these fish are probably moving a little bit. I'm not saying they're full-blown going from their winter pattern into their spring pattern, but what I'm looking for right now is I'm looking for bait. I'm looking for key features out here where these fish are going to start staging and start looking to move into the spawning areas. They're not ready to spawn, but they're going to start thinking about it pretty quick. And anytime you get these, especially during these warming periods, I really feel like a stick bait, a rock crawler, things like that are going to be baits that you can catch them on. First thing I want to do before I ever start fishing the bait is just pitch it out over the side of the boat, pull it down, and make sure that that bait isn't rising. I want to make sure that bait's suspended in the water column or just slightly sinking. And really, the colder the water gets, the more you might want that bait to sink rather than suspend or float. And sometimes you've got to get that stick bait so it's just slowly sinking to those fish, so you make sure you get it down to the depth that they're at. There's one right there. We'd eventually get him to bite. I can see him on my pan optics coming up right now. You can see I was just fishing that thing extremely slow, and these dudes don't have hardly any life in them right now. That water is cold. Not a giant, but a good healthy little Ozark bass. Like I said, the biggest thing about it is just slowing down in the wintertime. That stick 110, I've got it suspending, sinking just slightly. That fish got a mouthful of it. That's the biggest thing is slowing down, taking your time. I've probably had 30, 45 seconds on that one cast before that fish finally bit, and I could see him out there on my pan optics, and I was just taking advantage of all the situations I had to deal with. Nice little way to get the day started. Boy, there's a wad of them out there. Look at him right there. You see him on the screen right there? Look at him following him. That is what is so cool about that stuff. Ain't that old red rock crawler he did. Let's get back out there and see if we can catch another one. There is a bunch of them right there. Yes. Boy, they don't have any fight in them right now. That water is so cold. Yeah. Twirling his way in. There's a better one when he did it. You can see, I mean, we pulled up right there, and I mean, you can see that brush pile right there. I mean, that's exactly, I threw out there about 70 feet. I worked it to it, stopped it, set it over the top of it, and that's when that fish ate it.
For any additional information on this show or many previous shows, visit AmericanaOutdoors.com.
It's in our stomping grounds and our playground. It's in our sights and our commitment. It's in him, it was in them, and it will continue with her. It's in my nature. Is it in yours?
Gill that I've used for the last 5 years has been a far superior product than anything else on the market.
The main thing that's really important to me is me being dry. I've been wearing gill suits now for 3 years and never once have I gotten wet.
Engineered to excel, the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series are built for the ultimate ownership experience. It's a commitment to excellence packed with real-world advantages and exclusive features. Experience the accelerated performance standards of the legendary Ranger Z series. From first light to last cast, they're put together to set you apart. Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here.
At Yamaha, reliability is a family tradition. Meet the next generation. 4 new advanced technology-inspired inline 4-cylinder performers. Bred from the reliability and boater satisfaction that is part of Yamaha's DNA. They prove that when power gets lighter, faster, stronger, and smarter, boating gets even better and more satisfying for boaters like you.
Let's get down to business. Quiet, you sons of fishes. Now, what?
I'm switching sonar.
Why?
Because now I can see fish swimming live in front of my boat. I even see fish attack my lure. Y'all's sonar's just history. I'm out.
I'm with him.
Oh, nice shot.
You put the cool in life. We put the cool in coolers. Arctic ice. Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, is brought to you by Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder. Cabela's. It's in your nature. Ranger Boats. Still building legends one at a time. And by Yamaha Marine. Reliability starts here. Welcome back to Americana Outdoors. Well, we're in Northwest Arkansas, fishing on the Ozark Plateau with Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Mike McClleand. The Ozarks are a physiographic and geologic highland region of the central United States, primarily in Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. The Ozarks cover a significant portion of southern Missouri, extending as far northeast as the southwestern suburbs of St. Louis. In Arkansas, a large portion is contained within the northwestern and north-central region. Much smaller pieces of the Ozarks extend westward into northeastern Oklahoma and extreme southeastern Kansas.
Beauty of Panoptics, I can actually throw that bait out there, watch it fall on the screen, get it to the depth that I want to get it to, and then just maintain it through the course of the cast. And I mean, that's such an awesome deal to be able to actually hold that bait right where you want to try to keep it just above or right in the middle of where you're seeing all those fish. So important to be able to see what's out there in front of you before you get on top of it. You can see exactly what I'm talking about when you look right here. I mean, this is a brush pile right here, and when I pan just a little bit more to my right, I mean, that's the top of the brush pile, but that right there is a school of fish sitting right there on top of that brush pile. I mean, you can tell right now they're not moving a lot, and every time I throw my bait through there and bring it through, every now and then I'll see one move a little bit, but I mean, that's the key to what this Panoptic allows you to do. I mean, I'm throwing that's 40 feet out there that we're looking. We're actually looking 90 feet out. So I'm seeing everything that's out there ahead of me before I ever get to it. It's just about the closest thing to cheating as you can get. Little bitty peckerhead. Finally got one to eat that underspin. Where's the big ones at? Little Cabela swim minnow underspin, 3/8 ounce. Like I said, this is the time of year where you just don't necessarily know where they're gonna be. I mean, we caught a couple out over open water. I mean, we're in the back of a creek, following the creek channel. Caught a couple up on a channel swing on a rock crawler, and I mean, they move around a lot this time of the year, and you gotta cover a lot of water and just try to stay with them. All over the place out there. Not a very big one. Let's get back in there. Pile of them, got it right there. Ain't very big. Crazy that there's all them little ones mixed in with them good ones like there is. I guess that's a pretty decent one. That's probably the second best one we've caught today. But man, we're just cruising along the edge of this creek channel, and I want to take and pull back off this thing and idle around a little bit after we get done catching these and take a look at what it really looks like on that mapping. Dude, there are so many of them down there right now. It is unbelievable. I mean, a pile of them down there. And that is a full-grown one, I'm telling you. Unbelievable how sometimes a little bitty bait will catch some of the biggest fish in the lake. That'll get the old blood pumping right there. Look at the size of that dude. Stay down, stay down, stay down. Stay down. Now that right there is what we came out here for today. I mean, look at that. Little bitty 4-inch Cabela swim minnow on a 3/8 ounce underspin. I mean, that is getting it done right there. Dude ate it, it was not coming off. But I mean, that's a whole, you know, a couple hours of work. I mean, out here easing around back and forth on this ledge using the Garmin quick draw features. I mean, you put 5 of them in the boat and you're looking at a 25, 28 pound day right there. I mean, that is a gorgeous fish. She's been eating a little bit too, hadn't she? Whew. That's what gets you pumped up this time of year. I mean, them old big ones are plentiful this time of year if you can just find them watered out there on an old creek channel. We'll take a good look at where she was. There she goes. Oh yeah. Basically, like I said, I mean, I'm throwing a Cabela's little 4-inch Cabela swim minnow. I'm throwing it on a Cabela's Arachnid 6.3 gear ratio reel. I mean, I'm wanting to keep contact with that bait, but I mean, I want to slow it down and just throwing it on a medium action Falcon rod and getting the job done. Let's see if we can get some more.
Well, coming up, if you've ever been out on a body of water and had no map, well, don't worry. You can draw your own map using Garmin Quick Draw.
From the makers of Bubba Blade comes the Bubba Blade Fishing Pliers. No matter where you're headed to fish, this tool will become an integral part of your tackle box for many years to come. They feature our patented no-slip grip handles, just like our Bubba Blade knives, ensuring that this tool will stay firmly anchored in your hand. In addition to the handles, these pliers feature a super tough cobalt cutter and convenient split shot and leader sleeve crimping cutouts. The ultimate in control, strength, and durability. Bubba Blade.
Engel's got the original high-performance cooler and a whole lot more. Engel coolers, go with the original.
There's two things between an angler and the fish, the sun and the bugs. Sawyer's line of sunscreens and bug sprays keep you focused on the fish. Sawyer's Stay Put sunscreen formula bonds with your skin for a more comfortable and better level protection. And picaridin insect repellent will only harm the bugs, never your fishing gear. Also, Sawyer permethrin repels and kills on contact over 55 species of insects. You're already outdoors. Sawyer keeps you there.
Heavy duty, rugged, and designed for the big game hunter and angler. The Food Saver Game Saver Titanium Vacuum Sealer has the power and performance to seal in the freshness of your game and fish for up to 3 years, 5 times longer than standard storage methods. And with its extra wide dual and repetitive sealing capabilities, that's a ton of big game savings. Tough tested and rated 4.8 out of 5 stars by outdoorsmen just like you. The Food Saver Titanium System, it's a true game changer.
Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, is brought to you by Sunline, the strength to guarantee your confidence. Gill, respect the elements. And by Sawyer Products. Sawyer, we keep you outdoors. Welcome back to Americana Outdoors. Well, today Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Mike McClelland is fishing on the lake northwest of Arkansas, part of the Ozark Mountain Country.
So we got done catching that big one. I mean, we spent a little bit of time this morning out here mapping this lake with the quick draw features. And I mean, when you look at the contours that we've drawn in here, you can see the old channel comes right along here. And if you watch the clear view right here, I mean, right there is that channel break. It goes from, what, 30 foot deep up to the top of being about 17, 15, 16, 17 foot deep. And I mean, that's the beauty of these quick draw features and these new Garmin units. When you're fishing, you know, the back end of creeks, smaller lakes, you can really define the structure you're wanting to fish really, really quick. And I mean, that's what allowed us to catch that big fish a while ago, was simply being able to go through here, map it out on quick draw, and then turn around and fish this old creek channel drop you're seeing right here. You know, I mean, basically, I mean, we're throwing a McStick 110 and IU color. And I mean, you look right now, I mean, we're looking between here and that dock right here, and you can see this group of fish that's hanging out here. I mean, they're just everywhere out there. And I mean, I'm not gonna say a lot of those are big ones, but I mean, there's a lot of fun in catching numbers, and sometimes that's what it's all about. I mean, you mill through a bunch of numbers and you eventually pick off a big one like we did a while ago, but stick bait will catch big ones and little ones, and that to me is the beauty of throwing a McStick 110, is you never know when you're gonna catch a 5, 6, 7 pounder on it, but you've got the ability to catch a lot of fish this time of the year throwing a McStick. Look at him coming up on the screen. Right there he comes. That is so awesome. Just a little bit. Felt bigger than he was. It's all about the pause though. I mean, every one of them fish is bit when I've been sitting there talking basically. So I'm pulling that bait down to them, I'm stopping it, I'm letting it set, and it's just basically sinking slowly down on top of them fish. And they can't stand it. They're gonna eat it when it gets close. Another one right there. That's 3 casts in a row. I may not win no tournaments, but it'll sure help get you dialed in. There we go. That's another thing you really find this time of year is those fish will definitely stick together in groups of about the same size. I mean, I guarantee you there's a school of them big ones out there where we caught that big one a while ago. Old Gamakatsu hooks are sharp. Basically been throwing that little 3.5, 4-inch swim minnow. Now I've got it's a 4.4 McClelland series, competition series plastic. It's a 4.4 swimmer on an underspin. See if maybe it'll take a little bigger bait to get a bigger bite. Little bitty guy. There's a good one. He ain't that big, he just got his mouth open wide. Gosh, I thought he was bigger than that. Once again, little Cabela swim minnow. gets it done. That's that 4.4 right there for you. Not a bad little fish. Look how small their mouths are and how good and fat they are. It's a good release, wasn't it? There, got it that time. One more bass. We'll swim that on. They are fired up and biting. Let's get back in there and get another one. I mean, it's been a pretty fun day the way I look at it. I mean, I've got to be pushing 22 fish today. Had a lot more bites. I mean, and again, I've milled around all up and down this ledge and back into this creek, and it's just all about finding the fish and the bait. You find the bait and you're gonna see fish on your Garmin Pan Optics. Put a bait on that resembles a threadfin shad or a gizzard shad and you're gonna catch some fish this time of year.
We'll be right back to learn more tips and techniques from Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Mike McClelland. Hobie kayaks provide the ultimate lightweight fishing platforms that will offer anyone what they want when it comes time to hit the water. Hobie Kayak's commitment to innovation, quality, and owner satisfaction is unparalleled in the industry. So when it's time for you to go kayaking, remember there's only one name to remember, and that's Hobie Kayak.
What I love about the Bradley smoker is that it cooks everything perfectly and it holds all the juices in.
So today we are going to be smoking some barbecue ribs, some venison sausage, and some dove, which is awesome.
You will never grill me doves again. I have to have them in the Bradley smoker. I would prefer to use the Bradley smoker every time I cooked. Well, that's really true because I love this thing. Okay. No lie. For more recipes, log on to bradleysmoker.com.
When I talk about Sunline, I think of one word: confidence.
Sunline FX2 is what I use for all of my frogging and flipping.
S61 braid, which braid plays a big part in fishing line.
Shooter, I'm going to use in those close quarter deals like flipping and pitching.
One of my favorite techniques in fishing the tournament trail is to fish offshore ledges. We have taken the questions out of the equation.
Take my word for it. It works. It works, dude.
Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, has been brought to you by Spro, Sports Professionals, Power Pole, Swift, Silent, Secure, and by Big Bite Baits, designed to bring the big bite to your line. Welcome back to Americana Outdoors. Well, it's late winter, and we're with Mike McClelland fishing on the famous Ozarks mountain area.
You know, looking back on today and kind of how the day's gone, I'm gonna have to say that I feel like we've had a pretty successful day for the time of the year we're fishing. I mean, we're late winter. Water temperatures are 44, 42, 45 degrees. I mean, they're varying from end to end of the creek, end to end of the lake. And one of the things that I really got to thinking about through the course of catching these fish today is how important the line choices you make can be. Whenever I'm throwing a bait like a rock crawler or a McRip or a McStick, I want to be throwing that bait on Sunline FC Reaction just due to the simple fact that I want a line that I can feel, and FC Reaction is a fluorocarbon-based line, so it gives me a lot of feel of the bait, but the line doesn't sink like traditional fluorocarbon fishing line. A lot of fluorocarbons are really heavy and dense, but the FC Reaction really will help suspend that bait. When it comes to throwing baits like the swim minnow and the 4.4 swimmer, then I'm going to want to throw a fluorocarbon-based line, and that's where the Cabela's FC for All comes into play. We specifically designed this line to be tailored to whatever application you're probably using it for. So definitely keep the line in mind when you're fishing these baits. I mean, typically this time of the year, the lighter the line you throw, the better you're gonna be able to feel, and you really don't have to worry about it because these fish don't have a lot of fight in them this time of the year. I mean, you look at the ones I caught, even that big one didn't pull that hard, so size your line down. 10, 12, 14-pound test line is definitely what I'm recommending for this time of year.
Grip 85 scores. And that's what I was saying earlier. I mean, when it comes to catching fish that get down there a little bit deeper, those ones that you just can't quite reach with that McStick 110, that 85 will get it done sometimes. I mean, earlier today, those fish were suspended real high in the water column. As the sun's started to fall over the horizon, it seems like they pushed down a little bit farther, closer to the bottom, and had to pull that McRip 85 out to catch him. But that's a little better quality fish too, so we're gonna stick with this a little bit and see what we can make happen. Big, but it's a little better. Bad little fish. It's all about just staying with them. You just keep looking at that pan optics, keep following that ledge and the bait fish. You're gonna run across them before the day's over. And there is a bunch of them right there. There's one right there. Little. Look at that. Old McRip 85 will catch some crappie too. That ought to be dinner right there, the way I look at it. That might be a decent fish right there. Pretty good one. Not a bad one. Tell you what, the biggest thing right now, I mean, I've started seeing these fish push down again. Like I said, they're just getting down there tighter to the bottom. And I really believe that's the reason that McRip 85 is working. I mean, a little deeper diving bait, one of those baits that you can get down there 11, 12, 13, well, really even 15 foot if you fish it slow enough, and pretty decent fish right there. Let's see if we can catch another one. Thank you, Lord. There's one right there. Feels like a pretty good one right there. Stay down there, baby. Nice little fish to end the day on right there. Look at that one. I'm not gonna say it was a smashing day of fishing, but for my first day back on the water for, I mean, honestly, like 2 months, this is the first day I've spent on the water. I feel pretty good about it. I mean, I feel like with what we did with my Garmin electronics, the quick draw features, learning a little bit more about pan optics. I mean, I used them all last year, but the new pan optics transducer is unbelievable, and I think it's going to be a big advantage this year. No doubt about it.
Don't forget to visit us at AmericanaOutdoors.com for in-depth stories from the field. Hey, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Americana Outdoors. Americana Outdoors is a Careco TV production.